right, guys, welcome back to another video. As usual, lots of news to go over, and there's been just some awesome stuff happening over the last couple of days, and we have some more stuff here from the Xbox side, plus some information on a PlayStation concert. Lots of things to go over, but before we continue, if you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, hit the subscribe, like the video, share the video, and check out my Spotify. Link is in the description if you want the audio version of this show. So we got the next wave of the Xbox Game Pass games to be announced here, and it's a pretty phenomenal announcement here, which isn't surprising. We know what is coming at the end of this month, and the big hitter is going to be Call of Duty Black Ops 6. We found out yesterday that they are going to be licensing Call of Duty to be able to be played on Xbox Cloud Gaming, not only Black Ops 6 but also Modern Warfare 3 and Call of Duty Warzone, which I think will just open it up to even more people to go ahead and play that game. And that's all included in this announcement, but in total there's 10 games here that are for the Game Pass announcement. Some of them have been in there, some of them are being put onto different services within Game Pass, but we'll go through it all. So first one here, which is a phenomenal game. I've played it, really enjoyed it. The South Park RPGs are awesome. It's South Park, The Fractured But Whole, coming October 16th to cloud, console, and PC. And this is going to be available across Ultimates, PC Game Pass, and Game Pass Standard. You have Donut Country, which is coming October 17th. Again, all the platforms and available on all of the Xbox Game Pass subscription tiers. Mech Warrior 5, which we just found out is coming to Game Pass on October 17th. I believe that was announced last week. This is a day one game, a new entry into the Mech Warrior series. And if you have Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass, you're going to be able to check it out. And again, on all the platforms, including the cloud. Then we have Call of Duty Black Ops 6, obviously day one, coming to Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass on October 25th. Probably the biggest Game Pass release since Game Pass has been created, just in terms of popularity of franchise, how many people play it. What effects will this have on the game? What effects will this have on the industry? Because it's that big of a game. It's one of those titles that really does have a huge effect every single year, particularly in sales. And we will see whether this has any effect of grabbing people from other platforms to come play it on Xbox. Will it cannibalize sales where they won't want to do this anymore? I don't think so. I still think Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will be a top selling game. And I think if it is people's main game that they play every year, they'll probably just continue to play it on the platform that they currently play it. But it'll be great for people who just wanted to check out maybe the campaign, jump into a few multiplayer matches, and then they'll see it's in Game Pass and say, hey, I'll just sign up to Game Pass and see what else is in that service as well. So huge one there. Then we got Modern Warfare 3 coming October 25th. This is coming to the cloud for Game Pass Ultimate members. Same with Warzone. That is also coming October 25th to the cloud. You have Ashen, which is coming October 29th to Ultimate, PC Game Pass, and Game Pass Standard. So across all of the different areas you can play, including the cloud. Dead Island 2, which is currently on the console Game Pass, is now coming to PC for PC Game Pass and Ultimate members. StarCraft Remastered, November 5th, coming to PC for Ultimate and PC Game Pass members. StarCraft 2, the campaign collection, November 5th, coming to Game Pass Ultimate and to PC Game Pass. I'm really excited for those. I mean, StarCraft is a phenomenal franchise. I really hope at some point we do get a StarCraft 3. I think now with Blizzard and everything under Xbox, maybe they'll have more funding and resources you want to put into making that game. But super cool to see these dropping into Game Pass now, and you can go back and check those out. So I think this is a great announcement here for Game Pass. It was a little lighter at the beginning of this month, but I think now with this one and then going forward into November and December, we're going to be getting just awesome stuff continuously. When you think about the other first-party games, you got Microsoft Flight Simulator, you're going to have Indiana Jones, and then whatever else they're going to be announcing there on top of those games coming into the service. So go check out all the ones that you want to play here from these current Game Pass announcements. Okay, let's talk about the new Xbox. It's not very exciting, to be completely honest. It's just basically the Series X without a disc drive. And then there's also the special edition Galaxy version of the Xbox Series X. And of course, on the discless one, the all digital Series X, it's a 2 terabyte model. So you get that extra storage. But we have some other changes within the console that are very minor, but I don't know if people knew about this. And finally, because these consoles are here for people to check out, we can see exactly what that is. This comes via The Verge, as well as Austin Evans, who did his teardown between the first Xbox Series X, the one that was released in 2020, and the one that is released here in 2024. And he says here that the new models of the Series X have a shrunken chip, which allows the new Xbox Series X models to run around 10 watts less than the original model at idle. And goes on here and says the motherboard on the new Series X models has been totally overhauled, with many components on the board simplified, shrunk down, or moved around. And again, that's not very surprising. This is what these companies do throughout the generation of releasing consoles, especially even if there's different models. They're trying to cut costs, save costs in any way possible. So you'll see things like this happen within the inside of the device itself. It says there's no more shield over the SSD. And on the digital Xbox Series X, there's a blank space where the disk drive usually is, and you can't easily retrofit a disk drive either, so you'd have to solder on connectors for the drive. So I mean, you're not going to be trying to put a disk drive on that. You might as well just go out and buy a disk version of the Xbox Series X. They say the cooling for the updated 6 nanometer chip has also been redesigned on the new Series X models, and there's no longer a vapor chamber, and Microsoft is using a more traditional copper heat pipe design instead. And then Austin Evans also found that the exhaust temperature and noise of the new Xbox Series X models hasn't changed from the original. So that's kind of what you would maybe look for if you wanted to get one of these new models. Is it quieter? There's less heat, but to be fair, the reality is the current Xbox Series X is basically whisper quiet. You barely can hear it, so I don't know how much more quiet that they would make it, and you don't really feel the heat either. So the Series X itself, I think this is kind of a testament to how well designed this console has been from the very beginning of this generation. None of these changes are really going to improve your experience. It's not going to be quiet or anything, but if you just want a digital version with 2 terabytes, this is going to be the one for you to pick up. They also say here that the Series X hardware runs at around 61 watts idle on the Xbox dashboard, but on the new 2 terabyte special edition model, it dropped to around 51 watts idle and just 38 watts on the digital Xbox Series X. And during gaming, the original Series X runs at 167 watts, with the disc model running at 156 watts and the 2 terabyte model at 151 watts. And they say, while a drop of up to 16 watts doesn't sound like a lot, it will certainly make a difference for Microsoft's Xbox cloud gaming power usage. So I guess that's where the big thing does come in. Now, in terms of the pricing, this is where things, again, this generation has been super weird. You would think there would be a price cut. You think that these would be a lower price, but they aren't. They're currently priced at $450, and for the diskless white one, and then for the 2 terabyte Series X, it is at $599. So, I mean, the prices aren't great. This isn't something that you can say, oh, you're getting a deal here because there isn't a disk drive, which it's unfortunate. I mean, this has been this generation. We haven't seen price cuts. We haven't seen bundles. And this is just continuing here, even with these new models being released. But there are some slight differences on the inside, and those are all discovered here from the teardown and comparing the two. Now, one of the coolest features that I'm looking forward to, and I'm happy this is finally coming, they finally announced, but I've actually been waiting this, especially over the last year or so, where I've been playing a lot more cloud gaming because I feel like this service has improved. That is being able to play your games via the cloud if you've purchased them, the purchase games, not just your Game Pass Ultimate games. And we're getting our first kind of look here from this account on X called Red PHX. And they're showing cloud gaming here via the browser, but you can still see here what it's going to kind of look like by streaming your games that are owned and not just via Xbox Game Pass. Here is the tweet. It says, first look at the stream your own games feature on xCloud coming to the service next month. Requires Game Pass Ultimate. You can see him clicking around here, and there's a little ad that says stream games beyond Game Pass, and you click browse all, and then it'll show the games that you do own, and you can click it and you'll be able to play, just similar to what you had and what you were doing with the Game Pass streaming. And then there is a new buy-in stream tab in the all games page. So you can see here, you have all games included in Ultimate, which would be, I'm guessing, your Game Pass stuff. And then you're going to have the games that you've purchased and you're going to be able to stream it. And it does differentiate between games that you own on the little tiles and games that are on Game Pass. You can see the little check mark on the bottom left for the games that you own, and then Game Pass logo on the bottom left here for the Game Pass games. And they also say here that the games that are in the test all list but didn't show in the video, well, this is probably just a placeholder right now before this rolls out to everybody, but these are the games in the test all thing: is PGA Tour 2K23, Dying Light 2 Stay Human Reloaded Edition, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Hades, High on Life, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Metro Exodus, Dredge, The Crew Motorfest, and The Division 2. And again, again, that's probably just a very small test list right now. Once it starts rolling out, that will be expanded. But I'm really excited about this. I think this is definitely going to change if you are somebody who isn't always having the ability to sit down at a PC or at your console and natively play these games. You may want to play on your lunch break. You may want to play on a bus ride to work, anywhere that you're out of your house that you have some spare time. You can just load it up on your phone and start playing games on Game Pass, as well as obviously the ones that you've purchased, which to me is the big additional feature that is exciting. Now, Black Ops 6, we know it's coming October 25th. Just talked about it on the Game Pass announcement, and now we got a new trailer. There's been a bunch of trailers recently, actually, with the Replacer, which has been absolutely hilarious. If you've been following that series of advertisements, it's been great. But we also have the specs and the preload launch times for Call of Duty Black Ops 6. So I'll quickly just go through the CPU and the video card for the minimums and the highest end competitive 4K Ultra. You can read all the rest yourself to see if you have that. But the minimum CPU, a Ryzen 5 1400, Intel Core i5 6600. The minimum GPU, an RX 470 or a GTX 960 or Intel Arc A580. Now, if you want to play competitive or 4K Ultra, you're going to have at least a Ryzen 7 2700X or an Intel Core i7 8700K for the CPU. And then for the GPU, a Radeon RX 6800 XT and an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080 or an RTX 4070. So those are the main cards that you'll need for the minimum and for the competitive. But I mean, the Call of Duty does such a great job of optimizing across all different rigs. And we also see it even on the consoles, how good of a job they do optimizing, where you're getting 120 FPS mode on the Xbox Series S. So don't expect anything different with Black Ops 6. Now, in terms of when this game is launching and preloading and everything, preloading will begin on October 21st at 9 a.m. Pacific. And then they say for PC players, the game will launch regionally on October 24th between 4 a.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Pacific. And then for players who are on Battle.net and Steam, it will be on October 24th at 9 p.m. Pacific and October 25th at 5 a.m. BST. So those are the launch times between Microsoft PC, I guess the Windows Store, and Battle.net and Steam. And then again, preloading is all the same for every single platform out there. So, I mean, this is going to be huge. I'm excited for this game to launch. I'm excited to see how it does, and I can't wait to actually just play the campaign. The campaign is something I'm really interested in seeing how that is. All right, let's talk about this, because this is kind of funny. It's finally over here. But this has been a joke for the longest time, and this is the Gamers lawsuit challenging the Activision Blizzard deal. It has now been finally dismissed with prejudice, so will not be refiled. Finally, it's over. October 14, 2024 took that long. I mean, this has been going on for super, super long. It is now done here, and the case can be closed where it just has been dismissed with prejudice. So the Gamers, who are trying to shut this deal down, which is, I think, another blow probably for the FTC and everything, because I think the FTC is still in their appeals process. This is probably something else that will go against it, has now been closed. Okay, let's talk Bandai Namco, because Bandai Namco is going through some trials and tribulations right now. Unfortunately, just a continuation as to what has been going on within the entire gaming industry. But they have reportedly canceled several titles and are cutting its workforce. So this is according to Bloomberg, citing sources familiar with the matter, saying the company is taking a traditionally Japanese approach to reducing staff and sending workers to rooms where they are giving nothing to do, putting pressure on them to leave voluntarily, which is crazy. I mean, they're boring them to death basically and just getting them to leave. And it says they have reportedly moved 200 workers to such rooms, leading to almost 100 resignations. And a representative of Bandai Namco told Bloomberg that our decision to discontinue games are based on comprehensive assessments of these situations. Some employees may need to wait a certain amount of time before they are assigned to their next project, but we do move forward with assignments as new projects emerge. And there is no organization like an Odashi Beya, I'm not sure if I said that correctly, at Bandai Namco Studios designed to pressure people to leave voluntarily. So they are using this method. They are trying to cut staff as much as possible. They're canceling games. And all of this is continuing with just a crazy year in gaming in 2024 with studio closures, cancellations, and layoffs across the entire board. This is obviously a different method than what we do see. I mean, you see a lot of people just outright firing their employers, cutting them, but then you also see bigger ones giving severance and everything. So that at least gives them a little time to try to get back up on their feet. This is another one here. I've never really heard about this one, but here we go. Bandai Namco is trying to get people to leave voluntarily by basically boring them out of the job. Okay, Dragon Age The Veilguard as well has given its requirements, which is another big game releasing at the end of this month. And one of the things people will be excited about, I think, is that there is an absence of third-party DRM. So that's always a major thing on PC that people complain about when games release. Dragon Age The Veilguard is not going to have any of that. And they've also released their specs here, their minimum specs and their for specs for the best possible way to play this game on Ultra with ray tracing on and everything. So you could definitely go and check those out as well. I mean, it's what you would expect. I'm not going to go through these specs themselves, but if you're planning on playing this on PC, go check that out. The game also, of course, is being launched on October 31st. And they also announced on PS5 Pro features that will be coming to this game. So if you're wondering what is going to be the advantage of PS5 Pro on new upcoming games, here will be some of them. They do say here that the game's fidelity and performance will see both improvements on the hardware, including improved resolutions in 30 FPS fidelity and 60 FPS performance mode. And then additionally, there will be various improved visual settings across 30 FPS fidelity and 60 FPS performance mode, which is interesting because when the PS5 Pro was announced, one of the things that they were saying was basically taking the image quality of the 30 FPS mode and being able to put it into the 60 FPS mode. And clearly with this, I mean, they're still having that fidelity and the performance mode. The PS5 Pro, they were aiming from the presentation, at least it seemed like, to get rid of the two options. With a big game like Dragon Age Veilguard, the PS5 Pro is not able to do that yet, so they're still giving you the two options, but there will be upgrades, obviously, versus the base version of the game on the base PS5. They continue here and say the team of BioWare is proud of how immersed players will be when they enter the beautiful world of Thedas, with upgraded image quality thanks to Sony's new AI-based upscaler PSSR, which is thing I am the most interested in with the PlayStation 5 Pro is how good is PSSR? What's it going to be able to bring to the table? And we're going to start seeing that with more games releasing. They say we've enabled ray trace ambient occlusion in the 60 FPS performance mode, which is pretty cool. And it previously was only available on the base PlayStation 5 with 30 FPS fidelity mode. So that's where you're seeing, I guess, that advantage of being able to get some of those features that were only in fidelity now available on the performance mode. So Dragon Age The Veilguard, major game release. This is BioWare having to hit this out of the park because a lot of people have lost trust in BioWare and they really need to knock this one out, because if they can come back going forward with the next Dragon Age, going forward with further BioWare games, people won't be as skeptical before the game is released. And just a couple more things here. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has sold over 3 million units in 24 hours. An absolutely very popular game, one of the most popular IPs out there in entertainment, so that is not surprising. So that's great to see all the people out there enjoying that game. And finally, PlayStation has announced a concert tour. If you want to listen to PlayStation music in concert, they've announced a global tour launching April 15th in Dublin, Ireland, and then heading to more than 200 cities across Europe, the United Kingdom, in the United States and beyond. And basically it's called PlayStation, the concert celebrating the music of the greatest video game. So if that's something you're into, you're now going to be able to go sit in a theater and listen to PlayStation music. But I will end the video there. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.